What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Craze tonight, we have Mr. H. Wayne Desper. He's the creator of the Mythicals. We're going to be talking to him about his future Indiegogo campaign. And we also are going to be talking about why don't you come back? Come back and find out. We're going to talk about
Baby, it. Come back. Any kind of fool would see. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze Podcast. I'm your host with the most, the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer, Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. It is Tuesday, December 6th, and we are live. And if you are live right now with us and you're in the chat, say what's up. Drop a question in there for our next guest. And also, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the link below. Say hello, thumbs up, all that fun stuff. Also, share the video out. If you like what you see, share it out. Expand this. Let's expand the fan base. Let's reach 1,000 subscribers. We're inching very, very slowly, closer and closer to that number, dog. Yes. But yeah, man, what's going on, Sam? How you doing, brother? We got an exciting show tonight, man.
How you doing? I'm doing well, huh?
Yes. No, I was gonna say I had a feeling you were gonna start singing once you saw the title of the Get Your Medz segment. I had a feeling that was gonna be a song. Baby, come back.
That was a good one.
Oh snap!
I'm doing good. It's like the design of my toilet book number 4 is done. You did your thing with the letters. I finished the book. It's in Comics Wellspring's hands right now to get the proofs. So we'll have the proofs in 28 days. We're going to launch book number 4. Gotcha. Did you get it? Did you sign up? I'm hoping that you do, and you come back for book number 4. It is going to be so exciting. And if you do come back and you back the campaign and get a physical copy, then you'll get this free. This enamel pen of Duty in the Toilet, the iconic character, which is pretty dope. So I'm really excited about the campaign. I'm really excited. It's right around the corner. It's just inching right around the corner. So it's you get to party on New Year's, and then a couple days after, party with us right here on Catch the Craze live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we get to kick off book 4. That's a milestone. And you know what? And and the follow-up ones already locked. The dates are locked in for the year, so there's going to be 2023. Hopefully, is a big year for Duty, and so I'm excited.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff coming down the pike for that, so that's going to be exciting.
We'll be coming down the mountain when we come.
Yeah, and part of the discussion today on Get Your Medz about coming back is going to be talking about pledgers who maybe pledged to one campaign and maybe they don't come back for the second one. So we're going to be discussing that in just a few minutes. It's okay. You're gonna be all right. So and so there are ways, and we're going to be talking about ways on how maybe to get them back and things of that nature. For those who are watching this show, and maybe you're in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, let us know why. If you're somebody who pledged to a campaign and didn't come back to it, why didn't you? Or what makes you come back to campaigns?
Yeah.
What is it about the campaign that makes you, other than, the obvious, right? The obvious.
I have my theories.
Great product is the obvious, right? You're going to come back with great product. That's the obvious. But what is it that maybe deters you from coming back? Is it maybe money, money situation, things like that. So different things. But we're gonna be talking about that, and we're gonna be talking to H. Wayne Desper, who has an Indiegogo campaign, another platform, obviously, for crowdfunding, Indiegogo, and obviously the other one is the big one is Kickstarter. But there are others coming down, that are out there. For those who know, Zoop, for example, Crowdfunder is another one that's out. We're actually going to have the president of Crowdfunder on the show next week live. That's going to be on Wednesday, the 14th at 8 p.m. So join us for that conversation.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to him about his platform and how it differs from the others. Not necessarily making it better or worse. It's just whatever, is good for you. You have a choice. And I think that's important to have choices on these, especially when it comes to crowdfunding. Because there are people who just won't go to Kickstarter, bro. Like there are people who just won't pledge on Kickstarter. There are people who won't pledge on Indiegogo for whatever reason. So it's always good to have choices. But yeah, make sure that you do sign up to the campaign.
You can get with this, or you can get with that.
In my toilet. Issue number.
Choices, yo.
Issue
Quattro. Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then also make sure you go to getyourmeds.com. Pick up some merch, pick up some comics, all that fun stuff. I'm hoping to get some shows lined up for next year. I was talking to Jonathan, our friend Jonathan Syfax. He's ready for Wicked Comic-Con in Boston. That's in April.
Boston.
He's talking about going out to Boston. We went out there a few years ago, and it was a blast, man. We had a really good time.
Yeah, I've never done it, but if you could, let's see what we got. Let's say what's up. A Jets fan. I'm so glad I booked this.
What up? This is our guest, I believe, right, Hojo? I think this is him that's going to be coming in pretty soon.
Yeah. But you see that it doesn't say host. It says Arthur Samuel. If you haven't checked out my art channel, Arthur Samuel, please go ahead and check it out. The latest episode that's been uploaded is called "Selling Prints in Artist Alley." And types of paper you should use, the size, dimensions, all those things. I walk you through my process of why I choose the size, the dimension, the quality of the paper, all those things, and the price points. So check out Selling Prints, the newest episode on the Art of Samuel channel. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to that channel. And then there's a new episode coming up every Sunday. Next Sunday's episode is I got an order. So I'm going to walk you through the process of how I process my online orders from my online shop. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome stuff, brother. Awesome stuff. Yeah, man. So we're gearing up for end of the year stuff also, man. And we are up to episode 485, which means we are 15 episodes away from episode 500. And that is a milestone, man. 500 episodes. We've been doing this for a while now, and here we are. We are reaching episode 500. So we're going to be celebrating with giveaways and all kinds of fun stuff.
Give it away now.
We're still putting the thing together. Now at this point, we're what are we estimating? March for the 500th show, something like that.
I believe 15, something like that.
Something like that, man. Or maybe February. I don't know.
March. I think it's going to be right before the 5th campaign for Designating My Toilet launches in April 4th. It'll be around that week, I think.
You think so? Yeah, 15. Well, it's 15 weeks. So yeah, I guess so. Yeah, man, it's coming. It's coming. And we're gonna have some stuff there. We've already we are these are prototype sweatshirts that you see here, hoodies. Dream big. Sam's got the Go Crazy hoodie, and we've we started to do some.
For those of you who get lonely at night and need someone to cuddle with, all you have to do is get yourself a Go Crazy pillow of the crazy man himself and snuggle every night. And I will comfort you and while you sleep comfortably. So get yourself a Go Crazy pillow.
Wow. Damn. I think we just lost viewers, bro.
That's good.
Loholy cow. Yeah, Sammy. Well, yes, those are available. What's good, Gil? Those are available.
Those, bro. Look at that nose.
Yo, big shout out to the artist on those pillows and even on this thing here. What is this? Empro, right?
Yes, Empro. Masiak
Empro did the
Poland
drawings. Yeah, the drawings. But we are going to have hoodies. We have obviously those pillows. We have canvas bags that we're going to have available. So Join us for the 500th episode. We're going to be giving some stuff away. You definitely want to check it out. Make sure that you tell your friends about it. Make sure that people subscribe. Anyone you know, just tell them to hit that subscribe button. Hit it. Get us to 1,000. Get us to 1,000.
Word.
Hopefully before the end of the year. I mean, it's getting kind of close, getting kind of tight, Sam. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna make it.
It's getting kind of hectic.
Getting kind of hectic, bro. It's getting kind of hectic. Snap.
Yeah,
oh man, the throwbacks, kid. The throwbacks.
Throwbacks.
but why don't we go right into our topic for the day, Sam?
We got a topic. We don't have topics. We think we're professional. We ain't got topics.
We got topics.
Yes, I think you gotta go and check out what that thing that's bothering you.
Yeah, please.
There we go. Bam!
It's time for your medicine.
Why do you come back?
Yeah.
Please explain to me.
Why don't you come back? Why don't you come back? Okay.
So why do you come back?
Why do you come back? Yeah. Why do you come back?
The positive.
Both questions. Why do and why don't you come back?
Yes.
Like what is it? What is it? So you have this campaign. You're crowdfunding it as an artist, and you have these pledges coming in. Blah 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 blah. First one is great. You do your thing. You're thinking, all right, I feel good. Can't wait to do the second one.
Feels good.
And then hardly anyone that was there for the first one comes back for the second one. You're getting new people coming in, but the ones that pledged for that first one, is it because they like issues number one and they don't really care about the second one?
Yeah, they are collectors of ones. Yes.
Right? Is it because they are collectors? Is it because you just decided, what, didn't really like the story and you don't come back? I don't know. What is it that you just don't like the platform anymore? Like, forget Kickstarter. I can't stand Kickstarter, or I can't stand Indiegogo. What is it? Why don't you come back? What do you think, Sam? What's your theory?
I have a theory. I think it all depends. I think for me, like for instance, there's Nail in My Toilet. I think when people initially heard that the title, they automatically assumed it was just potty jokes and potty humor. And then so when they got book one, they're like, oh, it's just a cartoony comedy comic book. Where's all the butt jokes and the potty jokes and all that stuff? It's not what I thought it was going to be. So I think that could be why some people didn't come back for the second one. But on a whole, there are a group of people that just collect number ones. And there are a group of people that only want, they want specific homage covers. So if you have a campaign that has an homage cover that fits their niche, they'll come and back that. There's people that just go for certain things, and then there might be people who just like, what, it's not my cup of tea. I was interested in the first issue, I picked it up, but it might not be my cup of tea. So I think it varies based on taste.
Yeah. Would you say that the title then would you say that the title is important, or do you, at that point, do you think it's just, well, they just didn't get it, so whatever, I'm not changing the title? Do you think that you should go through the process of changing a title if it's something like that, where they think it's something different?
No, because there's sample pages on the Kickstarter, so you can see the sample page. There's also synopsis. So if you have one impression, there was enough data there to show you that it was the opposite of that, right? And if and so I think if it was misleading by where the images were all you saw nothing but toilet stuff happening, then I'd understand. But there was nothing like that. So I think, it all depends. I mean, the same thing happened with Forbidden. Forbidden number one popped off, boom, and then then it was like a trickle effect. It's hard. And I'm getting ready for book number 4. So book number 1 did really well. Then it dipped on book 2. Then it rose back up on book 3. So I'm hoping that it stays. Maybe people are like, oh, he is going to be around for the long haul. Oh, you know what? Every campaign that this guy did, I got my stuff earlier than anticipated. You know what? I'm going to stick around. I like it. It's funny. My kids like it, whatever it is. So, again, it's a matter of taste. It's hard. You can't, there's not one reason for it. It all depends on the individual.
See, I think me as almost like a super backer, I've backed almost 200 campaigns in the time that I've been on Kickstarter.
I did like 50 something.
I got like 190, I think, at this point. But what I do, and again, being a super backer, I back a lot of, because I'm in the indie game, I back a lot of indie friends of ours. So that automatically I'm going to come back because I want to support my guys, my girls, I want to support my peeps. So I do that. But for those that I don't know, I really have to like the book in order for me to go back and pledge again.
Yeah.
Like I really have to like it. That's one. Number two, I can't wait too long for it because I'll forget.
Yeah.
I'll forget because sometimes, Kickstarter and some crowdfunding campaigns allow you to launch a second campaign, and you can circumvent the system and say that you've sent out the first book and put up another campaign right away. So sometimes I won't get my first book, but you already have a second campaign. I may not even know about that second campaign. You know what I mean? Because I haven't even gotten the first one yet.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that has to do with it also. It's a matter of how soon the campaigns are being launched. How soon am I getting the product from the campaign that was launched? So I'm looking at it from the standpoint of a backer. If you wait too long, if your book is taking a year, 2 years to be completed because it wasn't completed when I pledged to it, then I may not come back for the second one because I may not want to wait that long again for a second book. I may just wait for it to come into stores or catch you at a convention or something like that.
Catch me outside, bro.
But there have been books that I enjoyed that I didn't know who these people were. I enjoyed it so much that I went in and got the second, third, fourth, fifth campaign because I enjoyed the book that much. So, I think we also have to be mindful of the waiting period and the wait time that some customers are going to have to go through, especially if a book is not completed. For you and even for the book that I created, books were done. So they were easily able to be sent out. But sometimes people, books like we always talk about, books we're waiting for that's been years, a year, 2. I mean, that's a long time.
We're still waiting for one.
Yeah. That made a lot of money. Over $20,000 were made on that book, and still the book isn't out. So there are reasons. I mean, I'm sure there are reasons why people won't come back. But we wanted to talk about why don't they come back. Now there are other people that may just not like the platform anymore, and they may be looking for something else, or whatever the reason. But I don't know. I think that the key to, like, especially comic books, and this is different on Kickstarter than say, for example, a new toaster that they're trying to crowdfund. I think that people who are buying comics on a crowdfunding campaign want the comic book right away, or at least expect it to be finished before they put money into it. Late books.
Yeah,
late books.
You know how I am. I've always been that way. I was like, I always do. Like, my goal is always to get it earlier than what the date I put it. Mm-hmm. And so far, it's worked out. I've each time that's my goal, because I believe customer service is key, right? Get into the hands fast. Get it sooner than later. So I try to anticipate. Just like with this campaign, I knew the holidays were coming up. I knew shipping was going to be delayed. Yeah. I wanted to beat that, so I decided I'm going to fund and print the books myself before. And then so I can ship it out as soon as the campaign ends and I get my money and I can ship it out. So that's where you can get it. So I think it all depends. I think, if you're late or if you don't get everything that you were supposed to get, what I mean? There's a whole lot of things. Damage.
Yeah.
I got a book that I paid $8 for shipping, and they put it in a regular yellow manila envelope. It wasn't bagged and boarded. It was in there, and it was rolled up inside my mailbox. Right. I'll never back that campaign again.
Yeah. No, I think, and to your point about being early. See, you're at an advantage because you're an artist, right? So you don't have to pay anybody to put that book together. You do it yourself, and when it's done, you promote it. As a matter of fact, right now, lifting the curtain up a little bit, you already start working on book number 5, even though that campaign won't be out until when is June or July, right? Next year. Yeah, so you're ahead of the curve, right? But you don't have to. You're not crowdfunding it to pay an artist because you are the artist, right? Those and I say that because if you're a writer who's putting a book together, I think it's important to have the book finished, and maybe you have to come out of pocket for it, and hopefully you do such a great job promoting your crowdfunding campaign that you're able to make a lot of that money back when you're crowdfunding the book, which isn't a sure thing, and I understand that it's not easy for people to come up with that money to pay artists and do all that stuff, which is what you're crowdfunding for. But that's what I'm saying. When it comes to comics, I think people expect those books to be done before they actually pledge to a campaign because they want their books in hand.
Yeah, whenever I see somebody running a campaign to raise money to pay for the people, I stay away from those because I know there's no guarantee that I'm going to get that. And what I've learned is in this industry, a lot of these artists disappear. You know, they won't finish a project. They'll move on to something else. So then that guys that's stuck with now finding somebody else, and they just paid for half the pages. Now they got to start over and find somebody else, and then it's a delay and delay, and you get nothing but emails. And I don't, you know, so for me, it's got to be ready. It's got to be said, book is ready to go. We're just raising the money so we can print it and ship it out to you guys. Those are the campaigns I look for because I don't want to sit around and wait. So my advice to anybody, I don't do it. And that's what I look for when I'm back in a campaign. So my advice to anybody out there, have your stuff ready to go. And so that way the people who are investing in you don't have to wait. They're not the one inconvenienced by this whole process, because the last thing I want is 5,000 emails telling me about all the problems that you ran into, which is why I'm not going to get it for another year. You know what I mean? I funded it because I wanted a product that was, you know, that was supposed to be ready. So, you know, I learned my lesson with that last one that we're still waiting for. I'm never going to do that again. And that's just it. You know, you get burned. I'm not looking to get the other side of my hand burned.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting on a book not by Stan Lee, but with Stan Lee product. Like, it's a Stan Lee book that they were crowdfunding, and I'm still waiting for that to come through. And they just recently, after almost a year, sent a message out saying they're working on whatever. I don't even read the messages at that point, because it's like, what's the point? Meanwhile, and I will say that the indies that I do back, I get their books right before it. Like Marv. I forget Jones' last name. He just said, I just got his book today. Actually, I'll show it up here. Give a big shout out. Marvin Gwynn. Yep, here goes The Edge. I just got that today. So, you know, and I got Tights #2 in the mail the other day. So I always get those.
I got Jay Parker's art book that wasn't supposed to come until the beginning of next year, and I got it in November. So I got it early.
But that's a big name. That's a big. I'm talking about the little guys. I'm talking about the guys that shouldn't. I'm talking about the guys that shouldn't be on time.
What I'm saying is,
he
put down 2023, and we got it in 2022. And so,
but again, that's a guy, a name in the industry. He better be early. Like, you know what I'm saying, like, in other words, what I'm saying is, my expectations of people like that are higher than, say, for example, and this is not a knock on the indies, but I understand that stuff happens. And for these indies to come through and come early, I appreciate that, because we're not supposed to. You understand what I'm saying? We're not supposed to be able to do that. And when we do it, I think it's a great thing. You know?
Yeah, I don't. That's where I'll differ on the opinion, because I believe if you're going to go on a platform to get people to invest in you, you need to be ready. That's just my especially if you want to grow as an because most indies want to be an entrepreneur and they want to be self-published, and they want those. So you need to be ready. You have to treat it as a business.
But you're looking at it from like a negative side. I'm looking at it from a positive side. These people were ready, so I give them props for being ready. That's what I'm saying. I'm giving them props for being ready. I appreciate that. That's what I'm saying. I appreciate that, because we're not supposed to, right? That's the stigma, right? We're not supposed to finish anything. So it's good to prove to people, yes, we do finish them. Look, here they are, and we're sending them to you early. So that's my point in saying that. I'm not saying that, we should praise people for something that we should be doing anyway. I'm just saying that when it does happen, it's great. Yeah.
And for me, it's like, if there's we're not throwing out names, because that's not what we do. But we know who it is that burned us, and so we know that they're not coming on the show. I got burned by this. I'm not good. Don't ask to be on the show, because if you didn't have the respect, when you asked for the money and we invested in you, and you didn't have the respect and the courtesy to make sure it was packaged nicely and shipped on time or whatever, then why would you want that? What would you expect that in return? So for me, it's like take it seriously. There's a million reasons why people might not come back. But if you can control limiting those reasons, what you can control is timeliness, quality control, making sure you're packaging it so it doesn't get damaged. You're not, I remember I got a shipment from a printer, and all the creases were wrinkled. I couldn't ship that to them. I had to contact the printer and I had to take pictures and all this stuff. There's no way I'm sending this with the crease. I want you to get it like straight out. As soon as I cut that plastic and I want it brand new I put it in a bag and board and ship it out. I take it seriously. So I just think that if you're going to go on a platform and where you're basically asking people to support your endeavor, give them the respect and treat it with care. Customer service is your most important focus when you're running a campaign. You can't control people's taste. People might say, you know what, it's cute, I don't like it, or you know what, this is too gory, it's too, I'm not. I thought I was gonna like it because it had this theme in it, but it's just too dark for me, or you know what, there's just too much. Everyone changes, which means is you got to work harder to try to reach more people. You know what I'm saying? And so I can tell you right now, I mean, every campaign I've had at least 15 new people that I didn't have from the previous campaign. So while people fell off, there were new people that jumped on. So it's about now, how do you retain that? That's the trick. How do you keep them all coming back? That's the trick. Because you could be doing everything right and they still won't come back. So I don't say take it personal. I say, just get creative and figure out ways to try to continue to expand your reach, continue to communicate to the masses and get your product in people's hands. That's it.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, there are campaigns going up every day, and there's never a good time. There's never a good time to launch. I know there's never a good time to launch. So you're always constantly going to be going up against somebody. But I think that what's going to separate you from the rest of the people is things like that, right? Having your book ready, and I mean, listen, and Jonathan says this all the time. It's a visual medium, so your artwork is gonna be the ones that are gonna attract people to it, then the story. But you got to make sure that story is great so that they come back and come back for issue number 2. So make sure that you do put the work, not just in the art, but also in the story, in the writing. Make sure, don't take shortcuts there. We recently worked with Paul Hayden, who's doing a book that should be coming out sometime next year. And we had an editor look at the stuff that we were writing to make sure that it was well written. And so, that's important. Make sure that you have editors looking at your stuff, because I think the story, and I say this a lot, I think the great artwork will sell you the first book. A great story will keep them coming back. Yep. And that's what you have to have. You have to have a great story, not just beautiful artwork. Yep. But yeah. I mean, listen, that's the topic. Why don't you come back? Let us know. Put it in the comments, and we'll continue the conversation at that point.
Word. I think it's a good conversation to have, and I think the best advice I give to anybody: don't take it personal. Don't get emotionally caught up in it. No need to go on social media and saying, how come you didn't come back? Just be creative and continue to work on your product. And I mean, book 4 launches in January. I'm working on book 5 right now, right? And so my goal is to be ahead of the curve, not be behind, ever. And in fact, I'm not even going the distribution route until I have the series done. So this way, when I start dropping the floppies, the single issues, I have a whole year's worth of single issues consecutively. So whoever, when it gets to the store shelves, for that year, you got 12 books. Boom, because it's a 12-part miniseries. And then you have 3 graphic novels from that 12 books. So, and then at the end, 1 big omnibus. So it's like, there's a plan in place, but my goal is to finish it before I go that route. So my first route is getting all the books done. Second route is then getting them into retailers. That's it, but it takes time. So you have to have a solid plan, be realistic, and then hopefully build your audience, and hopefully those people become champions of yours, because when it's time for it to go to stores, they'll go to their local retailer and say, hey, do you have this book? And hopefully that retailer will order it, so that's another part of the conversation.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a whole different topic. But yeah, my brother, that's the topic. That's Get Your Meds for today. We are coming back in just a few with our guest.
Yes, I'm just waiting for him to pop in the room, and then we'll bring in our guest. Yeah. And if you like this episode so far, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And remember, if you're listening to us on any of the audio streaming platforms like Pandora, iHeartRadio, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, help our channel grow, because when we grow, the indie community grows, and more eyes on us. That means more eyes on our guests, and that's why we do the show.
That is
Um,
correct. That is
yeah,
correct. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, there's we mentioned what happened?
he just popped in.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do this, Brutus. So, bomb. Welcome to Catch the Craze.
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, Joe, yes. Hey, so all right. So quick
Oh,
question.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
Nice.
before we start, quick question. Hojo. Now, there's a Mets player from like the 80s whose name was Howard Johnson. They used to call him Hojo. Are you also a fan of the Mets?
No, but my first name's Howard, and when that was going on, I was in Little League, and it was just easier for everybody.
Oh,
The coach did it one day, and it just stuck.
And they just stuck Hojo.
Yeah,
So what
yeah.
position did you play in Little League?
I played like third base and like pitched.
Yeah,
but,
that's what he played. Yeah.
I remember that, and
Yeah.
everybody's like the hotel, so I guess it was
Yeah.
where everybody goes to do
Awesome.
meth.
And where you from? Where you from?
I'm from Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah.
How did you end up a Jets fan? I mean, how did this happen? How did this happen, Howard?
Tom
Why did you do
Cruise?
Tom Cruise?
And Kenny
Yeah?
O'Brien. I'm old, man. I'm like 41.
Dude, I'm right there with you, bro.
Okay.
90s were my jam.
Yeah,
Sam
like
is
I
the
got
80s, bro.
I got a Vinny jersey.
You got a what?
I got a Vinny Testaverde jersey.
Damn, you are a throwback fan, bro. Holy cow.
And
I love it.
Keyshawn, even though he shits on the Jets, man, but whatever.
He does, dude. He does. Our number one pick. I can't stand that, man. But enough about the Jets.
Yeah.
Hojo, it's about you, my brother. So tell
Yep.
us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this crazy thing called comics, man? What happened?
Man, I mean, I've been into comics since I was a kid. Like I started early, like hard with like Spider-Man as Amazing Friends and the old Hulk cartoon and the Bill Bixby stuff, and it just snowballed from there, man. I couldn't put it down. It was just like I was into books and stuff. But I'm like, wait a minute, these are stories with pictures, like awesome pictures, and all these people know each other, and they're hanging out. It was amazing.
No, go ahead.
Like I went in and out. I took a few years off. Sometimes I would come back. Like I had not read it for a while. And I came back like the Onslaught thing was happening. I was like, what is all this? And,
but it's one of those things, man. It's one of those things where once you get the bug, it's like it's hard to like walk away from it.
Yeah, but like I never kept my ear off of the ground. I always paid attention to everything. I always knew what was going on, even though I just wasn't buying all the time, and like, having my pull list and all that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Now you did mention the Incredible Hulk and the Bill Bixby. Were you a big Monsters and that kind of stuff fan?
Oh, I'm a huge Hulk fan, man.
Okay.
Like I like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde stuff. I do like stuff like that. Like I was a big Monsters, and I like the 80s horror stuff.
Yeah. Well, who's your favorite monster? Or like
I don't know. I like Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's a cool story. I feel like nothing's ever been done with him again, ever, except for the Monster Squad.
Right. Yeah. Sammy, do you have a question? I thought I heard you coming in.
No, I was just looking at the Mythicals and just preparing my questions.
Okay. All right. Sam's preparing them. Huh? So I said Sam's preparing them. No, but yes. So all right. So you loved that. You were inspired. You were into that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, Sam mentioned your book that's coming out, I believe, sometime next year, right? The Mythicals.
We're launching February 24th.
Awesome, and that's going to be on Indiegogo.
Yep.
Okay. Now, was that inspired by your love for monsters and things of that nature?
What stuff like that, like the supernatural stuff. I like vampire books, werewolf. I love werewolf stuff, and I was in the Army for a while, and I came up with this idea. I was like, what if it's like, remember like Jim Lee's Wildcats? Like take that, like the quick 5 seconds pitch. This is like Wildcats meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, with not a whole lot of the melodrama.
That's awesome.
It's accessible too.
Right.
Vampire Slayer, that was the bomb.
Oh, I know. I mean, Joss Whedon, say what you want about him in his personal life, but dude knew how to tell a story.
Damn, what is it streaming on now? Is it streaming anywhere?
Buffy?
I don't know.
You know what? Now that you brought it up, I can actually do a binge watching session.
And Angel too. I loved
Angel. Oh, Angel was awesome.
Angel was the shit.
Yeah, that was the spinoff, right? That was the spinoff. Yeah, no, Josh does some good stuff with that, and so growing up with that, obviously, inspired you to write the Mythicals. Now, when did you start writing that?
I started writing it probably when I was in the Army, probably around 2005, and I shelved it. Life happens, you have, single, and then you meet a woman, and then have kids, and life happens, work,
Oh, yeah.
but just writing away. And then one day, like I was on Twitter looking at some stuff, and I think I saw somebody like from Brett Booth, and I was like, oh man, that looks amazing. And then I just kept clicking and kept clicking and kept clicking, and it was like, just went way down in the rabbit hole and started getting a few things. And some of this stuff, I'm like, this is exquisite. Some of this work, like you look at the mainstream, and like even the art and the story sometimes it's suffered across the board. Like, I mean, sales are down, manga's taken over, because they have concise stories. This is going to be a 13 issue thing, and it's done. It's out the door. The story's out. We're moving on to something else.
Sweet. So you're talking about the Mythicals is 13 issues. That's it.
Yeah, I've already got 5 issues written, but the entire 13, I've got beats. I just basically need to fill in the blanks. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Dialogue, a few other things. I know the entire plot. I know how it ends for every single one of these characters.
Wow. How many pages is it each book?
A 24-page floppy, man. We're gonna bring floppies back.
Bringing them back. Yeah. All right, man. That's sweet.
Be saddle stitched and everything.
Awesome.
Nice.
And go ahead, Sam.
No, go ahead. I was just...
okay. I thought you were coming in. No, so all right. So the Mythicals 24-page book. It's gonna be launched on Indiegogo February 24th. There's a sign up page right now on Indiegogo for you guys watching. Make sure you sign up. Click that link. Why Indiegogo? Why not any other crowdfunding campaign?
It was just the first one I come across with a few friends I had talked to, and they just said, this was a pretty good moneymaker. Kickstarter's like I guess the big leagues.
Okay.
Like especially for my genre, like say like a fantasy horror, like I describe it as like a supernatural action mystery, because there's like a puzzle to be solved throughout the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
So,
tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about how you've kind of like plotted it out. So it's 13 issues. Are you taking us through the 13 to figure this thing out, or how are you working it?
Yeah, well, we got the main character right there in front, Nancy Moon. She's she's basically our eyes, our window through this world. So we see, she starts, she's got a job interview, and she goes out to drink with a friend, and things happen. Monsters exist, obviously. So and then throughout there's level M. It's like this covert operating task force that handles supernatural threats. What we call the veil. It's like a supernatural barrier that keeps all the bad guys out and stuff. And so whenever something happens, they show up to stop it. And so she gets entangled in this whole mystery. We got our bad guy. You'll see it on the campaign page. I'll show a picture in a little bit. He's looking for something, a few somethings, and now it's a race to try to get him from collecting everything.
That's cool.
Before it's too late.
Nice, dude. Nice. What's that image down at the bottom there on the right? That's really cool.
That's him. That's the bad guy, the Inquisitor.
The Inquisitor.
That's the guy. He's looking for something.
That's sick.
Nice. I love the art style.
Yeah, he was. I can't believe I came across him, and I was like, "Are you busy?" He's like, "No." All right.
Does he also do the colors as well?
No, this is a guy from the guys who does the inks and the colors. They're from Brazil. The guy who does the pencils is a guy named Thomas Tikas. He's from Greece.
Nice. Now, was that on DeviantArt? Or was it on Twitter?
I think it was on Twitter, but I started out. I got like a concept artist to like I mean, I could sketch and I could do a few things. Like, I mean, I guess I'm a competent artist. I'm not professional, but I know how to draw. Let's put it that way. Right. So, I had a few sketches I passed on to him. I met on Turner Comics forum, and that was like the first indie, I guess, company or publisher that I came across, and then like Scout and stuff like that. And so I got in touch with him, and I was like, "Can you do this for?" We came up with a good figure, and I got some character designs, and I ran it through this guy. He was like, "I would love to do this," because he's been doing like this crime noir stuff and other commissions that aren't like this, and he's like really into mythology. I was like, "Well, let's call it the Mythicals."
Well, there
He
it
was
is.
like, I'm from Greece, and like not in this issue, but later on, there's a character from Greece, and he's excited.
Nice, dude. Nice. It's always nice when the artist digs the work, like, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
and with
Digs
the
into the
inker,
artwork. Yeah.
it was insane. With the inker, I had this is the second inker I had. I tried out a few. This is the last. The first one, it just didn't work out. Like, I wasn't happy with it, especially with like having to pay like an overseas like a fee for an
Right.
exchange. Yeah, you know, I'm good with PayPal. I like that.
Yeah. Right.
So I found he was like, well, I don't know anybody. So I went on the hunt. I did research on all this for like 6 months before I even attempted to make a comic book.
Yeah.
And so he was like, is this Thomas Tikas? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I've worked with him before.
Wow.
I could tell. So like this right here, that bad guy right there, like that was his inking sample and the coloring sample. And he recommended a new colorist because the colorist I had been trying out wasn't that fast. I knew it wasn't going to work.
Right.
And so it was just like one thing led to another, and it all lined up. And it was like, well, my book is kind of doing something like that, so I might be doing something right.
That's freaking awesome, dude.
It was synergy. I mean, it was like what they call it, serendipity.
Yeah. Did you? How long does it take them to do a page, like as a team?
Yeah, I'd say start to finish. He'll send me a thumbnail, like if we have like if I need to make changes or something, and he could pencil out a page in 2 days, inks in 3, and
Right. Gotcha.
colors in 2.
All right. Yeah, man, that's pretty quick. I love the process of him, you know, with the thumbnails. Is it straight out of, obviously you send him a script, he thumbnails out the
Yeah, it's a
page,
pretty, and
and you
some
put it
panels
in.
are pretty detailed. You know, I don't go Alan Moore with it and write a whole page for a panel. But he seems to get it. Like,
Right.
I mean, because I like to put it in camera angles. I know some artists hate that because they're like, you're restricting me, you're just keeping me in. But I only do that with certain shots, like, the villain reveal on this, like that is me, like micromanaging, I guess you would say. I was like, this is what I want. I thumbnailed it out a little bit more, and then he revised it, and then I was like, let's change this, and it was exactly how I had it in my head, and it was like perfect page.
Gotcha. So you see it the way you see it. Sometimes you'll go right and draw your own thumbnail of it.
Sometimes, and you know, I got an editor too. She's got to reel me in.
Yeah.
I tell the story all the time. Like there's a scene at the end. I wanted a helicopter. I had it in there. It was going to be so awesome, and she's like, no, it's not going to work. You're in the middle. You're in the middle of someplace, and you can't have that.
She said,
it's like, no. Well, I knew she was right. So, but I think what I worked out was pretty
That's
badass.
awesome, man. So you're willing to like kind of just say, all right, you know what? All right, fine.
Because she's been doing this for a while, man. Who am I to tell her no?
Good.
I mean, it's, you know, in the end, she's like, well, it is your book, and I will, but if it's something I'm uncomfortable with, I just won't put my name on it. That's like the ultimate insult right there. I'll be like, I'll still take your money, but I'm not gonna put my name on it.
Right.
Because she's been burned before, man. People screwed her over. But, I mean, it's a business. You live and you learn. But I mean, it's been, I sought her out, and we refined the script before I even started anything. Like you can't, I just don't, I can't do that. That's not how I operate. Like,
so you wrote the script, finished the script, send it out to her for her to edit. Once the edits were done, then you send it to the artist.
Yep.
So that's a fascinating approach, because somebody who's new to the game, and what made you realize that in order for you to produce your own body of work, that you needed to have these players in place? Because most people just say, I'm just going to write it, find an artist, and just go. You decided that you wanted a set of eyes on it that's going to help quality control, help move it to that next stage. What was that? Where did that come from?
I guess the military, and plus it's funny, quality control. I do that for a living, bro. I check other people's work. I'm not an editor. I'm not in literary form at all. I fix electronics. I make sure people have their internet. But it's just, I mean, the Army, like, you have to have contingency plans. Look, it's like Batman. He has a contingency plan for everything. I'm not saying I'm Batman, but you have to have backups to your backups, and a side piece and something underneath the drawer here.
Right.
So I mean, it's it's not a game. I guess for me, like I'm not trying to make a career out of it. It'd be awesome if I could just sit at home and write lies all day.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
You know, but I got kids and I got to take care of my kids. But this is I mean, I'm not saying it's a hobby. I don't want to trivialize it like this is easy. It's a hobby. It's just something I do. It's a passion. I love it. It's love of the game. That's just what I want to do.
Mhm.
This is what I want to do with like maybe my kids. Just be like, look, my dad did that.
Yeah.
If I can, make a couple hundred people smile, maybe more than that each issue, and just be like, huh, that's funny. Because I'll sprinkle on some comedy. You can't. That's the Buffy the Vampire Slayer part of it. You have to sprinkle in the comedy.
Right.
You can't. It just can't be hard ass '90s extreme
Rambo.
razor metal
Right,
couches and stuff like that all the time. It's boring. So my sense of humor is sprinkled in the book. I can't. Life's too short, man. Trust me.
No, for sure. No, for sure, man. And listen,
But you just got to have a plan, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. And listen, thank you for your service, man.
Yeah, no problem.
You did that.
Happy
How
to
long were you in the service, and were you writing this while you were out there?
Yeah. Parts of it, the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
A few dreams led to a few cool pages.
Really? Okay.
Later on down the road, like I had the gist of it. I had almost like an ending, and I kind of like stumbled in the beginning. Like I kind of wrote this work. This is backwards. This is what makes it so cool, because like if you read it, like you're just like, oh, that's what that's about, or that's what that means. It's just I love stuff like that, because serialized storytelling is just, if you can pull it off, people just look at you and look at it and they're just like, huh,
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Right.
Because like Babylon 5, I don't mean to nerd out, but like John Michael Straczynski, like he wrote all 5 seasons of that before he even flopped it on a desk, and they stole it and made Deep Space Nine. But it's just stuff like, I love stuff like that, because I like you said, binge watching. I love watching, because Joss Whedon did that, and any good storyteller will do that throughout a series.
Right.
Like I used to love the show 24.
Oh, yeah.
There was stuff that paid off. I was like, at the end was like, oh man, you shouldn't have broken into the Chinese consulate. They were going to get you.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love it. Like, I mean, I love the old Claremont X-Men. I love Peter David.
Right.
He's in bad shape right now.
I
Yeah,
heard,
so,
dude. I saw that. Yeah.
Donate if you can. But his work with Hulk is just X Factor, all of it. I mean, John Byrne, the Masters.
You know what? I love sometimes picking up those old books and just reading through them to get just inspired and to get motivated too, because it makes you want to write, right?
It does.
That's how good those things are, where they make you want to write something, like, and that's the whole beauty of it.
I saw something today, actually. Alan Moore. I don't know why he dresses like like he's working at a theme park, but he said it makes you a good writer is to read something bad, to look at it, be like, well, I can do this better. Well, this is why this didn't work. Right. And then when you fix it, he said that right there that's how you'll develop your own style after a while.
Nice.
Which I try not to read bad books. I mean, but I mean, like, you have to read. And like a friend of mine, Lee Byron Carver, says, I don't know if it's his quote, but he said, anybody can write, but not everybody's a writer.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's a craft, man. Just like art, dude.
Yeah.
This whole thing is harmonious. Like one can't exist without the other. Right. One's just a book. The other one's just a coloring book.
Right.
But I mean, I have seen a few issues, but if you're good enough, I know the artist will flip out and say, if you're good enough, you don't need the words. Yeah, but you don't get the context. You don't see what that face is emoting. You don't know what they're saying. It's just the perfect art form to tell a story. Like, I know the movies are cool, but there's some things you could do in a comic book that you could never. I don't care how much CGI you cannot. It is restrictive.
Yes. The crazy thing about some of the movies that we watch, and they were once comics. You know what I mean? A lot of that stuff was once a comic book. So here's the question from Mark: with serial storytelling, do you feel a slave to the original story you created?
No, because it's just a cool tale. It's just a story.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few lessons in there. I mean, you can't help it. I mean, a few observations on, I guess, humanity. In the end, this is a book about, just because there's a cross on the T doesn't mean it's a Christian themed book. I'm trying to lecture anybody or try to step on anybody's theological toes. It's a story. It's just a story.
Yeah.
but that's significant to the story. That's why it's there. My lead character is a woman because that's what the story dictates. I'm not a slave to it. It's just this is the most freedom I've ever had in my life.
That's amazing.
When it comes to something like this.
How long does it take you to write a script?
With this, like once I mean, there for a while, like for about 4 months, it was like, because I'm old school. I write everything into a notebook, and then I'll write little with blue ink, and then I'm like, oh, I got to transcribe 24 pages. I told my wife, I was like, I got to do these 5 pages and just put it on my laptop. And she was like, okay. And then 2 hours later, I got like a half a page or a page. She's like, I thought you said you were doing that. I'm like, yeah, but I had to change something. I couldn't figure out how to make it work, and it just didn't resonate. And I have to talk out the dialogue and use my accents. So
that's amazing, dude. I would love to be a fly on the wall when that's going down.
Man, we're lucky enough to have a basement with a room where I can just shut the door and there's carpet. I could just cut on music if I have to, or it could just be quiet and just sometimes everybody has to have it. If you ever read Stephen King's book on writing, despite what people think about him or his work, some of it's a little weird, but he had this cognizant moment between after he got hit by a car and he was like just messed up enough on pain medicines to write this masterpiece about how to write a book or how to throw away the things you don't need and sharpen the tools that you do have because of this toolbox. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I think everybody needs a quiet space. I think, you know, like for me, when I'm illustrating, my dogs are up in my office because this is their clubhouse. But when I'm writing, I keep them downstairs because I need just quiet. I just have like music in the background with no words, just melodies, and I just write because I don't want any interruption. Because writing for me, when you're in a flow, you don't want to be disrupted in that flow. You know, because when that magic is happening, you want to tap into that magic because writing's takes a lot more energy, I believe, and focus for me than it went artistically. You know, so I think everybody needs that quiet space.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think that, and we talked about this week before you came on, that, you know, story is so important, man. You know, a good story, it's very important to make sure that everything makes sense within that story. Because the artwork, you know, it's one thing, but that story's got to make sense. It's got to be cohesive. It's got to be something that people are like, oh, makes them feel something. You know what I mean?
Yes. You have to want to read the next issue. You have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of the teaser pages from back in the day. That last page where you're just like, oh, dude.
Yeah. To be continued, right? Next month on whatever. And then,
you know, I mean, if you look at this, like 13 issues, that's what they do nowadays. And I guess TV, they don't have 24 episodes anymore. It's 13, 15, you know, 8 issues. It's like boom, boom, boom. And every issue, and like that show Yellowstone, people, you know, I love that show. At the end of every episode, I'm like,
you know, is that the one with Kevin Costner?
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't seen it. I've been watching a lot of 15-minute clips on Facebook.
Or like the Sopranos back in the day, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I'm like, one day I gotta sit down and just watch it because the clips are just out of control.
Oh man, yeah, that's where there's a big culture clash.
It's it's on Hulu, I think, right?
It's on Hulu, yeah. So for people who are new to you, what will they take away from this story?
It's gonna make you think. I mean, you're gonna get some really good action and get some comedy. It's really everything. It's accessible. It's what you want it to be. Like if you really want to just try to like, because to me every panel has a plan. Every page has a purpose. Everything's there for a reason. So if you want to try to look for Easter eggs, if you want to try to pick things through, that's fine. Go ahead, try. But it's just gonna be a fun ride.
Nice. And your official launch date is when?
February 24th.
February 24th. Yes. So the
link should have a trailer here soon linked up to that. So stay tuned. If anybody follows me on Twitter, put out an update. And if you sign up, you should get my newsletter. Maybe get a sneak peek.
Outstanding. And the first 25 physical backers get a limited edition print.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. I'm probably gonna let people know about that about a couple weeks before. It's not ready yet.
Awesome. And your Twitter handle is?
That's just Hojo exclamation point. Oh, actually, it's at HW Desper. But if you put in a Hojo with an exclamation point, you'll see that ugly face up there. That's on the page. That's me.
Sweet, man.
Outstanding.
Sweet. Hojo, this has been fun, man. Thank you so much for coming on, and
man.
I can't wait to check out the book once it comes out. For those watching, make sure February 24th it drops. Sign up today to the Mythicals on Indiegogo. So
Link is in the summary. It's also in the chat. Check it out. Yeah, so thank you for coming on the show, and
thanks.
we wish you a lot of success. With
it's good talking to you guys.
You got it, buddy.
Great. It's great.
Talk to you soon.
All right, see you.
Take care. Peace.
All right, so that was Hojo and his Mythicals. Check it out. Again, the landing page is in the chat. So click that link, go check it out, sign up to that newsletter, check out that trailer when it launches. And remember, the first 25 physical backers will receive a free limited edition print, which is pretty dope.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I felt the passion, man. He was very passionate about his writing. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, here's another person who took the smart approach. You know what? It's like if I'm going to go and put out something that I'm passionate about, I want to make sure that I put my best foot forward. I'm going to get an editor. I'm going to do all the right things that most indies sometimes overlook, right? Because they want to do it themselves, or it's a financial thing, or whatever it is. So I think, when you take all the necessary steps to take care of your baby, that's the way I look at it. Anything we create is our baby. We got to nurture it. Then, things work out in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Big shout out to Hojo, who's doing his thing. Wayne Desper, the Mythicals. So make sure you sign up. Link is in the show notes. It's also in the chat right now for those who are watching live. And thank you to everyone who has joined us tonight for the show. Make sure on Thursday, Sam, what's going on Thursday? Let them know.
The Morning Brew with the Crazy Crew. Join us. We're going to be talking about
the bag.
If you watch the Crazy 10 or Less, right? Is the bag worth it when nobody really cares about you? Is the bag worth it getting to the top? Is it's worth it when there's nobody there to celebrate with you?
Damn.
So it's going to be a great topic to discuss Thursday morning on the Morning Brew, first thing in the morning. That's going to be dope. So let's check it out. So join us there, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central. And if you like this segment or any part of this segment, don't forget, give us that thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe. Let the world know where you got this first, right here on Catch the Craze podcast. And I'd love for you. You are cordially invited to join me on January 3rd for the launch of Book 4, Gotcha, of There's an Alien in My Toilet. I invite you. I want you to be there. Please sign up. The link is in the chat. It's in the summary. And join us and get notified when we launch. It's going to be fun. And if, for all you guys that come back and make a physical pledge, you're going to get this free of charge. Bang. And it's an official Dude's badge. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be fun. So don't forget, check out Get Your Meds. Get your melody on getwithaz.com. Get your meds with a Z. I'll be there. Oh, Aurelis, you are the best.
What up?
Yeah, check out Get Your Meds. And if you haven't done so already, check out my art channel, The Art of Samuel. Check it out. Latest episode is Selling Prints in Artist Alley. And subscribe to that channel. Every Sunday is a new episode on The Art of Samuel. So with that said, I am Sam, the crazy man, Vera.
George, the dreamer, Medina.
And we are.
It's just easy. It's not. Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.